What do you think that plant's name is?
I don't know. It's not a bonsai tree. I don't know what's native in the Japan, California area.
Well, I would just mean like the plant's name at the office is Charlie, so what do you think that plant's name is?
Oh, Jeffrey.
Alright.
Epstein.
No! Dude, no. I can't believe that Adrian... No way! Not cool when collected Adrian Andrews. She's your manager. It would be very easy for her to pull this off. Oh yeah, we're trying to fucking frame her for this. The only person who could easily access to the knife you used at dinner was, well, her. So after the ceremony during the break, huh? I was sleeping like a log the entire time. See? She could have also easily planted that blood-covered button on your hakama. Because she was the one that came to wake me up? Then, dude, you're saying it was really her? Yeah. She is the real killer. She was the one who murdered Juan Corrida. But why? I thought she was buds with Juan. She has her own agenda. Her own agenda? I thought she was supposed to manage my agenda. What the fuck? What are you talking about? I'm sure you'll see by the time this trial's over. You'll be alright. You'll get acquitted by the end of the day. Give me a verdict that's refreshing as a spring breeze, alright, Mr. Lawyer Dude?
He loves that phrase.
Yeah, it's his fucking motto. Phoenix. You think her motive is related to Celeste Impact's missing suicide note, right? Yeah. And Miss Andrews depended on Miss Impacts as her strength and reason to live. Oh great, this fucking imaging. And when Miss Impact suddenly killed herself, it sounded like she left a suicide note, and the person thought to have hit it is Juan Corrida, the victim of this murder. And that's why I think that Miss Andrews got close to Mr. Corrida. All they get the suicide note back. It sounds plausible, but one thing bothers me. What? Who was it that first told us about the relationship? Better stated, Miss Andrews' dependency issues regarding to Miss Impacts. Oh, yeah, it was Edgeworth. Oops. It looks like he's still the one in command of this ship. Don't let your guard down yet. Don't worry, Maya. How could I? Anyway, welcome back to Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney, just for all blind. I got my guide up. I got the better guide up where it actually explains why evidence is like the reason behind it, then just give me the answer.
I need to refresh myself before I...
You need a drink of water?
Yeah, in a second.
Okay.
Court will now reconvene. Now then, Mr. Edgeworth, if you please.
The prosecution calls the witness subpoenaed by this court, Miss Adrian Andrews, the person who discovered the crime in Mr. Juan Corrida's room.
Would you like water now?
What is your occupation?
I am the manager of the defendant in this case, Mr. Matt Ongard.
I see. Now then.
Before we begin, Your Honor, I have one request.
Yeah, sure. What is it, Hottie?
I'm sure everyone in this room is wondering the same thing. I would love to find out more about my relationship with the victim. After all, it was the topic of a certain weekly magazine recently.
Oh, no, I have no idea what you mean. I've never even heard of Casablanca.
If the judge was ever a prosecution witness, he would do all my work for me.
Anyway, I was wondering if you could please tell us about your relationship to the victim.
Yes, I was seeing Mr. Corrida. I was also aware of the rivalry that existed between Matt and Juan. But this was a private matter between Juan and myself.
So it was a fry and bait matter, or was that bait and fry? Reminds me of fishing.
But I didn't kill him.
No one is accusing you of that.
I think there's someone who would beg to differ.
Oh.
I think we all understand your relationship with the victim now, Miss Andrews.
Very well.
Oh, I'm switching between too many voices.
It's fine.
Very well then. Witness, please testify to the court about what happened when you discovered the murder that had taken place.
When I found the body...
I got depressed.
Cameron.
It was time for the show to start, so I went to get Matt from his room. After that, I went to Juan's room, and there was his dead body. I was in shock. So I planted the tomato juice. What I saw was naturally the exact same scene as in the crime scene photo. I felt as though I was about to faint, so I poured myself a glass of juice.
Okay.
You poured yourself a glass of juice?
Yes, sadly I didn't remember not to touch things at the scene of a crime. And I disturbed the crime scene by moving this one thing.
And that is when the fingerprints on the wine glass were made, Your Honor. I see. Well, Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness.
Phoenix. She's one cool and collected customer, and she has brains to match. Yeah, I know. In order to catch a person like her, you have to avoid head-on confrontations. You should disrupt her pace. Disrupt her pace? She's the type of woman is easily thrown off by things inconsistent with her thinking, so you have to attack when she least expects it. The instant you let up on your offense is the instant this trial's over, understand?
Okay. Okay, that's fine. Okay. Sure.
You were in shock?
What, was I not supposed to be?
Miss Andrews was a very calculated person, and despite how close they were, I doubt she had romantic feelings for Mr. Karan.
Anyone randomly stumbling upon a dead body would be in shock. And you can't seriously expect that a young beauty like her would not be shocked.
Somehow, I don't think beauty has anything to do with being shocked or not.
I see.
I saw was naturally the exact same scene as in the crime scene photo. I felt as though I was about to faint, so I poured myself a glass of juice. Juice?
Yes, there was a bottle of tomato juice on the table, so I helped myself.
But you didn't drink any of it, did you?
Huh?
There's no lip marks left on this wine glass, it's just that anyone drank from it.
I wasn't feeling terribly great, so I set the glass down without drinking it.
Miss Andrews, I would like to confirm with you one more time. When you discovered the dead body of Juan Carita, you were in great shock. And that's when you poured yourself a glass of juice, correct?
And what of it? My mind really was a complete blank at the time.
Your mind was a complete blank. I don't think it was possible for you.
Aren't you rude today? I was so dazed that I made one careless mistake, that one thing.
What one thing?
Never mind, it's no big deal.
What was she starting to say just now?
Press further.
Yeah, go ahead.
I
Sorry, I was trying to figure out, like, what the fuck is all that? I was sounding like someone was moving furniture. I'm realizing there's still a storm going on.
Yeah, like you made a sound, and I was like, am I not supposed to press further?
No, I did.
Yeah, you're like.
Oh, I'm still nasally still. I'm sorry. Miss Andrews, I'm convinced that you said you made a mistake at the scene of the crime. What I really want to know is what this mistake was.
Actually, so would I.
I'm sorry, it's kind of embarrassing. When I set the glass down the dresser, I accidentally knocked the flower vase over.
Those are her pants?
Flower vase? Are you talking about the one on the floor in the crime scene photo? This mess of glass shards?
It was originally on top of the dresser, but when I bumped into it with my elbow, it fell onto the guitar case.
Why did you withhold such an important piece of information?
I'm sorry, I thought that since the crime scene was already in disarray, that people would simply assume the vase was just another part of the mess.
It looks like yet another fact has come to light here. Please add this and anything else you have to reveal to your testimony.
I'm sorry, but I have nothing more to add. I didn't touch anything else.
I was the one who knocked the flower vase over, where it fell on top of the guitar case. What kind of flower vase was it?
It was a glass vase, and it was fairly big and heavy. I thought I would try to take Juan's pulse, so I set the glass I was holding down the dresser, and that's when my elbow accidentally hit the vase.
That's odd. I thought she was always in total control of herself. That's what she would like people to think. Always be mindful of the gap between your perception and reality. It doesn't sound like there's any glaring contradictions in her testimony just now. I warned her earlier that she would not crack so easily. The only way to make her is to keep on the offense and not let up. The only way we're going to catch her is with some very strong, decisive evidence. I have to find something. I just have to, for Maya's sake.
Sure, I guess I'll pass on the rest of the statements.
Okay. And what was Mr. Ongar doing at the time?
He was taking a nap.
Sleep.
He was worn out from his mini performance as the Nickel Samurai during the ceremony.
Mr. Ongar did say he was taking a nap. Then I guess you would say that it couldn't... Fuck. Then I guess you could say it could not have been taken out of his room, yes?
Excuse me? What are you...
Right, I thought years of school would have taught you how to construct a sentence. If you can't make a sensible sentence with a subject, then I'll make it for you. Watch. Did you, Miss Andrews, remove Mr. Onguard's knife from his room?
No.
Subject, verb, object, right. Did you skip basic grammar? The witness may continue.
After that, I went to Juan's room. And why would you do that?
As a friendly gesture, Juan was to make an appearance with the other heroes.
So the show was supposed to be a show of friendship, huh?
Yeah, I'll press further. Why not? I want to hear about this show of friendship.
Is that the only reason?
I beg your pardon? What are you implying?
You had a certain goal in mind when you started to get close to him, correct? Or perhaps you had more of a personal matter to discuss with the victim?
Sorry, but I didn't have any such intentions in mind at the time.
Can't get her to talk without a strong piece of evidence, I guess.
May we continue now? Witness, what did you see when you got to his room?
Is this the body of the shot? Alright, we already pressed that one. So naturally, it was the exact same. Okay. This is the photo you're referring to, correct?
Yes, the one with the knife lodged in his chest.
And the guitar case was like this too?
Yes, it was open and empty, of course.
And then what did you do next, witness?
I thought I was about to faint, so I poured myself a glass of juice. We did press that one.
Yeah.
So, there are...
Let me check real quick.
Yeah.
Only on top of the lid. Wouldn't it have needed to be closed for it to be on top of the lid?
Yeah.
But
Because if it was open and water fell on it, it would have gone inside the case.
yeah, and how would it make sense? Because you can see the little dark spots where the water spilt on it. How in the world does it make sense that it's on the top and the bottom side like that?
Congratulations, Cameron, you found a contradiction.
I don't know where to press on that. That is. Wait, let me see. Oh, here. I'm gonna present this.
Okay. You did it. So there was 2 different answers. You can present the guitar case or the crime scene photo, either the fourth statement or the newly added statement.
Huh.
Yes. You testified that you knocked the flower vase over, is that correct?
Yes.
And are you sure it fell on top of the guitar case?
Is there some problem with what I said?
It's not some problem. It's a major problem. It's true that the top of the guitar case was wet with water. However, that's exactly what is so strange. Miss Andrews, you testified that the vase fell onto the guitar case. However, If that were true, the case would have been had gotten wet inside, not the outside.
That's very true.
Furthermore, there is one other strange thing about this guitar case.
And what is that?
Let's take another look at the crime scene photo. The remains of the vase are scattered on the floor. And what is wrong?
And what is wrong with that?
If the guitar case was open when the vase fell,
Won't there be glass shards in it?
the glass shards would be inside, not outside the case.
Oh.
What is your point, Wright? That the case was closed at the time the vase was knocked over? Is that all?
Well, yes, but now it's fucking open. Now, think back to what Miss Andrews testified to. She said that other than the vase, she didn't touch anything else.
Yes, that's right. She did implicitly say she didn't touch the guitar case. But this whole matter with the guitar case is a dead end. The bright red guitar was found at the studio. It has no bearing on this case at all.
Then maybe that very well be. However, the empty guitar case does seem to have no relation to this case, does it?
It seems that there is no deeper meaning to the guitar case. Well, Mr. Wright, do you think we need to hear more details about the guitar case?
I always love hearing more details about guitar cases.
I love
Make
hearing
her
about
testify
riffs.
about the guitar case.
If you if you choose to let it be, me will warn you about disrupting Andrew's bass. So it would just loop you.
So, okay.
The empty guitar case. I believe that is a crucial piece of this puzzle.
I can't believe anyone would reach for straws like this, but it is you.
I can't believe I'm doing this either.
Alright, I'll follow along for now. Miss Andrews, please testify to the court about the guitar case.
Yes, Your Honor.
Alright, tell us, girl, tell us. Any achievements?
I don't remember it too clearly because I was a bit dazed. I suppose I must have opened the guitar case after I knocked the vase over. It's not a big deal though, right? The case was empty after all. As for why I opened the case, even I don't know.
It looks like this really wasn't a very important point.
Is the point that they're trying to get at is that she was like looking for the note, and she like opened the guitar case because of that?
Possibly.
This wastefulness is such a familiar feeling by now that it's almost comforting.
Anyway, I'd like to go ahead and start my cross-examination.
Using anyway to change the topic. Convenient escape for a weak man.
Fuck you.
I'm sure you were a bit dazed.
During your testimony just now, do you remember those events clearly in your mind?
Well, you see,
Are you sure you're the one who opened the guitar case? She's waiting for someone to tell her if she should answer or not. Sounds like her dependency side is taking over.
Well, Miss Andrews?
yes, it was me.
I suppose I must have opened the guitar case after I knocked over the vase. What the fuck? So you opened the guitar case then?
Yes, well, maybe.
Why did you open the guitar case?
Huh?
Mr. Kurita's dead body was right there in front of you, wasn't it? You would think the first thing you would do was call for help, not open a guitar case.
As the witness has said multiple times when she found the dead body, she was in shock.
Oh, no, she was dazed. Oh, that makes a huge difference. The judge fell asleep.
I'm asleep.
Maybe I was curious to know if the bright red guitar was alright or not. I thought maybe the criminal took it.
Why would she care about the bright red guitar?
But getting back on topic.
It's not a big of a deal though, right? The case was empty after all. Was it really empty? I'm just wondering if maybe when you opened the case, the guitar was still inside.
How long have you been a lawyer, Mr. Wright? The bright red guitar was found at the studio. These trials would be over in half the time if you would just pay attention. Yes, pay more attention, Mr. Wright.
Sorry. As for why I opened the case, even I don't know. Is that because you were shocked and dazed at discovering the victim's body?
Yes, that's probably it.
I'm not going to get anywhere if I continue pressing her like this. The only way to make her talk is with evidence. I guess I should give it a try. Come on, Phoenix. We can't afford to let up on her now. I wasn't planning on letting up, but she's at her weakest now, so now this is our chance. Yeah, if we had a weapon to hit her with.
You mean like his knife?
No! I will tell you. Oh, well, hold on. I'm sure a weapon is hiding somewhere in this court record, waiting to be found.
You mean like this knife?
No, not the knife! Alright, so apparently there are 3 separate statements you can press on, like, present evidence on.
Wait, how many statements are there? 1, 2, 3, 4. So I can press on 3 out of the 4.
Yeah.
Or present on
3. On 3 of the 4. Yeah, with the same piece of evidence.
Okay. So it's not on this one. It's on any of these 3. Let me think. So where I opened the case, I don't know. There's Karita's fingerprints. Well, obviously, yeah. I mean, it's his. Part of me wants to say this, but I feel like that's too implicit. I can never tell with this game how literal versus how, like, suggestive I have to be with the evidence, because, like, I feel like they're implying that I need decisive evidence.
Yeah.
But, and this to me is not 100% decisive.
Yeah. What she's saying is that she opened up the guitar case.
Well, yes, I understand.
Yeah.
She opened up the guitar case.
Oh, fuck, there it is. I was like, where's my phone at?
Okay, no, no. No, no, no. 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 Maybe. No. Maybe. No. I don't know. No, 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 no.
Well, you have 2 guesses and whatnot, so I guess process of elimination if you want.
I mean, I'll present the guitar case again.
There's no way that you're the one who opened this guitar case.
Why would you say that?
It's elementary, my dear. Because the only fingerprints on this guitar case were those of the victim.
Okay, I guess that makes sense.
What is it, Miss Andrews?
You shouldn't assume that I must have left prints just because I touched the case.
What do you mean?
What if I were to tell you that I was wearing gloves at the time?
Gloves? But why would you be wearing gloves at the time?
It was the night of the awards ceremony, so of course I dressed up for the occasion. Yes, now I remember. I'm almost sure I was wearing a pair of thin gloves.
I see. Well, Mr. Wright, it seems the witness was wearing gloves at the scene of the crime.
That's strange. The only person I remember talking about wearing gloves about is the the aluminum samurai.
Whatever.
Is the steel samurai, the titanium samurai.
Oh, whatever. You were wearing gloves? Isn't that a little strange?
Why is that strange? Do you have something that would prove I was not wearing gloves at the time?
Yeah, you were naked and having the sex with me.
What?
Oh, yes.
I have the proof right here. This wine glass.
The wine glass?
You left your fingerprints very clearly on this wine glass. Even if you took your gloves off when you poured yourself this glass of juice, wouldn't you think it was just a little strange? That you put your gloves back on just to open the guitar case?
Her glasses blew up.
Oh, she got me once.
Order.
Looks like you hit the nail on the head this time. What do you mean? I believe this guitar case plays a very important role here. But it's just an empty case. I wonder if it was really empty though. But the guitar, the bright red guitar, was at the studio. Phoenix, drop all your preconceptions. What was in the guitar case was not a bright red guitar. You don't mean it was a bright white guitar? Wait, that's not right either.
Why would I don't know. Anyways.
I admit it would be unnatural for someone to do that.
I don't know where I got the word hate from.
Yeah.
So the witness was not wearing gloves, despite the fact that on the case. Your Honor, this is obviously the defense's usual misdirection tactic at work. Steer the court towards an unrelated topic and lull us all into his misguided.
Fuck you.
Said the fuck you guy.
No, Your Honor, please recall that Miss Andrews had testified about the vase. Fell on top of the guitar case, which means that the case was closed when the crime took place. However, it's wide open in this photo in the crime scene. I am sure that this guitar case has some relation to the murder.
If you're so sure, Wright, then I'm sure you can somehow substantiate your outrageous claim, correct? Please enlighten us as to why that guitar case has anything at all to do with this murder. Can you do that, Mr. Wright?
Well, let's suppose for a second that the bright red guitar was not the only thing that could have been in this case.
The bright red guitar not being the only thing? You don't mean to suggest it?
I'm glad the judge and Phoenix are on the same wavelength
Yeah.
here.
So you intend to push your theory that the case was not empty, is that it, right?
I wouldn't say something I couldn't indeed prove.
Deflate that head of yours, you haven't proven anything yet.
Fuck you.
Now then, let's have it. What was inside this case at the time of the murder?
Okay, this has two answers apparently.
I feel like this is one of them.
No.
It's not? It's,
No!
It's not talking about the suicide note?
No, it's not.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Really, really.
Really? It was...
Lotta's camera!
Well, we already established that old bag stole that shit.
It was... the Magatama!
I love that you're trying your best.
Okay, process of elimination again, Cameron. No. No.
The guitar
It's not
case was
good.
inside the guitar case. I knew it.
Oh fuck, what are those little
No.
egg things? Where they stack on...
Oh, the Matryoshka
yeah,
dolls?
they're like those. You open the guitar case, and another guitar case is inside, with
Yeah.
another smaller guitar case.
Yeah. No. I don't think this would be in there. I got it. It was Pearl. She was in the case.
Not the SVU episode where we had that happen.
don't know. The only thing that I could think of was the suicide note.
I'm sorry, it's not.
How does that? It doesn't make any sense to me. I don't know what else it could be.
I don't know how to. It doesn't offer an explanation that's enough for me to like give you a little hinty hint. I will say the one of them is on this page, the other one's on that second page for the 1 or 2 answers.
At the time of the murder, what was inside this case? There's no way it's the knife, right?
No.
Doesn't make any sense. There's no way it's Lada's photo. Because that doesn't make any sense either. It's a fucking Lada's photo! That's some bullshit! That makes no sense!
Go ahead and press it.
I'm gonna need a really good explanation here.
Present either the nickel samurai or Lada's photo.
What? Like I said, I'm gonna need a really good explanation, or else I'm gonna get really pissed off at this case.
Alright.
This is a photograph.
Yes, but what's important is what is in that picture, Your Honor.
In this picture.
It doesn't take a genius to see what I mean. What I'm proposing is... inside the guitar case was the Nickel Samurai, the hero's very own costume. You guys can't see it, but Cameron's shaking his head in disbelief.
How are you supposed to come to this conclusion? I'm done. This case sucks ass. This is worse than the other case. Just for this one reason.
I'm sorry.
There's no reason to come up with this conclusion. Yeah, I'm right there with you.
What? Mr. Wright, explain yourself.
Right, are you saying that the witness opened the guitar case to take out a costume? What insane point would there be to doing something like that?
That insane point would be to wear the costume, of course. Miss Andrews put it to hide her identity so she could make her escape. After all, you wouldn't let anyone see you leave, would you, Miss Andrews?
I refuse to accept your theory. Do you have anything to support such a preposterous idea?
Just outside the door was the investigator photographer who was starving for a big scoop. And in the end, she managed to get this shot, correct?
You mean this photo?
Okay, this is like bullshit on like so many levels. Number one, they're saying what was inside of the guitar case. The fact that you have to present a photo makes no sense.
I'm sorry.
That is so stupid. Like, that is so unbelievably stupid. Number two, why would she have his guitar case to put the other dude's costume in there? Like...
I'm sorry.
Uh-huh?
I guess what they're implying, because the last try we assumed that the only reason why we indicted Miss Andrews was we said that she was the one inside that costume, leaving Juan Carita's room.
Yes, I understand that, but how did she get the costume inside of his guitar case? Did she go in, take his guitar case, pull it out, bring it over to Matt while he was sleeping, take his costume off of him while he was sleeping, put the costume in there, take it back over there, put it down, kill him, take the costume out, put it on, leave the room? That's so dumb.
I'm sorry.
This is so fucking stupid.
It looks looks like we've wandered into quite another mess again, haven't we?
Yeah. Nice job, Phoenix.
No, it wasn't a nice job. That is stupid. Mia, you're stupid. Phoenix is stupid. The only one that's making any sense in here is the judge and Edgeworth. Why are they saying they're like, huh? And I'm sitting here like, yeah, I'm right there with you.
Well, you know my strategy. Speak first, think later.
Yeah, you didn't do any thinking about this one.
So the real murderer was hiding inside a costume. Wait 1 second, Your Honor. The Nickel Samurai's costume would have been Mr. Matt Onguard's.
Are they gonna fucking explain it here? I better get some really good reasoning.
Why would something of the defendant's be in the victim's room? And inside the guitar case of all places? True. That is a little baffling. Mr. Wright, the court would like to hear your thoughts.
What'd they do?
What was this Nickel Samurai costume doing inside the guitar case?
I want to say the option that makes more sense to me, but at this point, nothing makes sense in this trial.
I'm sorry.
This is what makes more sense to me.
Mr. Onguard did not take his costume off during the break period.
Because he was napping with it.
In that case, the costume we're talking about is a spare one.
What? Then, are you saying that on the night of the murder, there were 2 Nickel Samurai costumes at the Gatewater Hotel?
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
And how do you explain the costume that was inside the guitar case? It would mean that the victim himself had brought this spare to the ceremony on purpose. But why? The victim, Mr. Kurita, was the Jammin' Ninja. Why would he secretly bring the Nickel Samurai's spare costume with him? What could be the reason behind such a peculiar act?
Is this the point that they were making where Matt didn't know about the whole, reveal thing and he was bringing a costume? He was bringing a spare costume because he was gonna, say some slanderous shit during the post-interview thing and bring him down.
I'm so sorry. And therein lies the sticky point.
What are you mumbling to yourself about now? Have you just been rambling all this time without any sense of inner monologue?
Huh? No, I just...
Oh, Mr. Wright, please explain yourself. Why do you think the victim had the Nickel Samurai's spare costume?
Phoenix, are you sure you can explain this one? Think carefully before you answer, and then answer with gusto. I believe in you. Alright, this is what I think. The reason the victim brought the Nickel Samurai spare costume to the hotel was...
I'm not even gonna save here. I know it's this shit.
Alright.
What is this?
On the night of the murder, after the stage show, the Nickel Samurai was going to hold a special press conference.
A press conference?
Yes, the Nickel Samurai was supposed to confess something at this conference.
I heard about that as well. For once, you're not making something up right.
Fuck you. But what struck me as strange was that Mr. Onguard himself said he had no idea what was supposed to be that he was supposed to be holding a press conference that night.
But how can that be?
The way I see it, it can only mean one thing. This conference was a setup. By none other than the victim, Mr. Kurita himself.
The victim?
Yes. The spare Nickel Samurai costume was prepared for that very conference. Mr. Kurita was going to hold the press conference as the Nickel Samurai.
He was going to dress up as the Nickel Samurai and hold a conference. But why would the victim do such a thing?
That's something I don't quite know yet. However, what I am concerned with right now is what he intended to reveal at that conference.
The Nickel Samurai was going to confess something. And by confess, I wager he was going to reveal something about himself.
Which means that Kurita, posing as the Nickel Samurai, was going to speak about Matt Onguard.
Yes, I guess that is what it would mean.
But if that's the case, that's not a confession, that's public disclosure. Huh.
Miss Andrews?
I can see why you are pros at what you do.
Pardon me?
Yeah, it's just as you say, the press conference was set up by Juan.
Miss Andrews, please offer us an explanation for this.
I was the one he asked to help set it up. And the person who prepared the second costume for him, that was also me.
You?
Juan had bet everything on the Jammin' Ninja this year, and if he lost the Grand Prix, he was going to make sure Matt was going down with him. That's what he thought anyway.
He was going to ruin him, huh?
It looked like somehow Juan had in his hands a secret so powerful that it would destroy Matt's acting career had it been revealed.
What?
And do you know what this secret of Matt and Mr. On Guard's is, Miss Andrews?
That's something only Juan knew. I don't know what it is.
Ah, I see.
I've probably been coming off quite suspicious to everyone, but that's to be expected. I've been trying to protect Matt, after all.
Protect Master On Guard.
And yet again, another strange bit of truth comes to light, it seems. Miss Andrews, if you could, please tell us the truth about your behavior.
Yes, Your Honor, I understand.
Protecting Matt.
From the moment I saw the crime scene, I had a feeling that Matt was the murderer. Matt had to kill Juan no matter what, and he didn't have an alibi for what he was doing at the time of the murder. My thoughts were confirmed by the evidence, of course, the button and the knife. But I'm Matt's manager, so I felt that I had to protect him.
This does account for everything.
Well, I am the logical type.
We're finally seeing her true self. She's more nervous than a scared rabbit.
If the defense can find no fault with this testimony, I'm ready to make a ruling. Please keep that in mind as you cross-examine Mr. Wright.
Looks like somehow everything has swung to the opposite end of the scale again. It just means I had to pull my weight into this and turn her logic upside down. From the moment I saw the crime scene, I had a feeling that Matt was the murderer. How the fuck could you know that? Would you say that that was your intuition speaking for you?
Don't confuse my methods of reasoning with your own. If you want to prove that someone did something, you need 3 things.
3 things?
A motive, an opportunity to commit the crime, and finally, decisive evidence. And if you think these 3 things through, the answer becomes quite clear.
You should already know that, Phoenix. We didn't teach that to us in school, at least not from what I remember.
May I continue now?
Matt had to kill Juan no matter what. So you say this need came from the press conference?
Yes. Do you know why Juan chose that event in that hotel for the conference? Because that was when he could cause the most damage to the public's beloved Matt On Guard.
And you knew of this plan, didn't you, Miss Andrews?
Yes, because I was the one who set up the conference and prepared the costume.
But I'm sure Mr. On Guard himself didn't know anything about the press conference.
Oh, really? Can you show me any proof that he didn't know about the press conference?
Anyway, the important thing here is that this information is not in your testimony.
Yes, I agree, Miss Andrews. Please correct your testimony, if you please.
Grasping at straws now, are we, Mr. Wright?
I know what his motive was, but I don't have any way to prove it I'm right. Has Mr. On Guard done something to hurt you or betray you personally?
Why do you ask?
You're the one who helped Mr. Kurita with his press conference, and that event was supposed to bring down Mr. On Guard, yet you still helped out.
The person on trial right now is Mr. On Guard, right? What the witness was thinking helping the victim with his plan is none of our concern. In any case, this means that the defendant had a motive to kill.
Why do I keep doing this to myself? But he didn't have an alibi for what he was doing at the time of the murder. But didn't you already testify earlier that Mr. On Guard was taking a nap in his room? Are you telling me that that too was a lie so you can cover for Mr. On Guard?
I'm not telling you anything of the sort. When I went to get him for the show, he honestly was sleeping. However, as to whether he was sleeping the entire time, that I cannot say. I was too busy setting up the stage at the time.
I keep trying, but I can find no flaws with what Miss Andrews has said. I can't say the same for some people here in this courtroom, however.
The judge is glaring straight at Mia. He's glaring at you, smart guy. I almost thought she was gonna say smartass. Mouse were confirmed by the evidence of course, the button and the knife. You can hardly call the knife decisive evidence. The fingerprints on the knife were very well to be cleverly camouflaged.
Then what about the button?
The button?
It's clear from the crime scene that the victim and his murderer fought. And during the fight, the killer ripped the button from the gem and ninja's costume.
You're talking about this button, correct?
That button was found in the pleats of Matt's hakama, isn't that correct? I would think that makes it very decisive evidence.
Looks like you were outfoxed again, Mr. Wright.
Anyway, the knife doesn't prove a thing. Please fix your testimony.
I can't stand the sight of a man who can't gracefully accept his defeat.
Thank goodness Mia could still look at me. With an icy glare, yes.
Miss Andrews, for Mr. Wright's sake, please add this information to your testimony.
That button was torn off of Juan during his fight with Matt. And how do you know that?
When the ends of the threads on the button and the costume were matched up, they were found to fit together perfectly, or so I heard.
I heard that before too. But why would Miss Andrews know about this case down to such a fine detail?
Don't look at me like that, just because I'm prepared and you are not.
I thought I had her this time for sure. If there's something to rip her up on, it has to be here, but where and what? But but what you really did was stab the guy in the back, didn't you? And at the worst possible time.
Who's to say she really stabbed the guy in the back, as you put it?
This witness could have disclosed things about Mr. Ongar at any time. Why then would she wait until there was a large audience before doing so? This is the same reason why Mr. Kurita planned such an elaborate conference. Miss Andrews wanted to cause Mr. Ongar as much damage as she possibly could. The witness bears ill will towards the defendant.
This isn't the Phoenix Wright Wax Philosophical Power Hour. And please stop slandering the witness.
As I expected, Miss Andrews' testimony seems pretty solid. Really? Because to me, it sounds a little wishy-washy. Wishy-washy? Well, I guess we see if I press a little more. You should know this by now, but you need strong, decisive evidence to make her talk. Got it, Chief. I'm gonna pin you down this time, Miss Andrews.
I have a feeling that Matt was the murderer. I know what his motive was, but I don't have any way to prove him right. He didn't have an alibi for what he was doing at the time of the murder. That button was torn off of Juan during his fight with Matt. This is the only one that seems like kind of sus to me. It was ripped from his costume, is covered in his blood, and was found in his coma. Fuck it, we won't.
Me too! This witness statements are clearly flawed, Your Honor. I mean, I will tell you, you got the right statement. And it is on that second page.
No, no, no. I don't know. No. Maybe. Okay, the button was torn off of Juan during his fight with Matt. But the knife that was stabbed in was post-mortem, right?
Yeah.
Is there multiple things here, or is it just one?
Just the one.
What conclusion are they wanting me to draw from this one? I get that they don't want to make it like 100% obvious, but the button was torn off of Juan during his fight with Matt.
Okay, what they wanted you to think is the button was pulled off after the stab.
That still doesn't really tell me anything,
I
though.
was trying to give you something, because there's a whole explanation.
Because, like, you could use this photo as proof that says, like, it was written, or it was done after the fact because the knife is in there. You could use then that also brings in the logic that the knife was, but this doesn't say anything about it being done afterwards.
Yeah.
And then this says he was stabbed with a knife later.
Yeah.
So I don't know what conclusion they're wanting me to draw here. You know what? I'm just gonna guess them, and if I get the wrong one, and it's like I have 3 pieces of evidence that
Alright.
I don't know, and if I get it wrong, the first one, then I'll just keep guessing.
You want to save real quick?
No, I don't care.
Okay.
I mean, I can't say it. Well, I guess I
Yeah,
can
you
back.
can. You can back out.
I don't.
The piece
care.
has gone for 4 hours.
You know what? Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. You are it. Okay, this one.
Good job. Okay, so according to the report, Karina was strangled to death and stabbed afterwards. If that was true, then the button could have been pulled after the stabbing.
Yeah.
This is the victim's autopsy report.
I would have said that all 3 of those would have been good enough,
Yeah.
but
The game said no, only one. It clearly states that the cause of death was strangulation by a scarf.
strangulation.
The knife stab to the victim was done after the victim had already died.
And what does that mean?
Let's examine the evidence. This button has the victim's blood on it, which would mean it was ripped off the costume when?
After the knife was stabbed into the victim.
Ah, that's what they were getting at. Because if you're strangled, you're not going to leave any blood. So after he was already dead, they stabbed him, blood got on the button, and then they pulled it off.
Well, that's why I was saying, like, the crime scene photo also kind of shows
Yeah.
that. But
Exactly, which means it's impossible for this button to have been pulled off during the victim's final struggle. Because the victim was strangled to death in that fight. That's right, Miss Andrews. There is no way this button was ripped off during the struggle. This button was consciously pulled off of the victim's already dead body.
Order, what is the meaning of... What is the meaning of this, Wright? So what if the button was torn off the body after the victim had already died? What does that change?
Let me ask you one simple question, Mr. Edgeworth. Why was the button torn off? What purpose did it serve?
What purpose?
We now know this button was not torn off during the fight. So the murderer took the time and effort to purposely rip this off of the victim's body. That would mean that the murderer had something in mind, wouldn't it?
Mr. Wright, does this mean you know what the murderer wanted to do with this button? What was it?
A memento to put the crime on guard to destroy evidence.
fuck it, we ball.
Yippee! There's only one logical reason to do something like this. It was to pin the crime on Mr. Edgard. There is no way anyone would put a bloody button in their own pants. That's right. Mr. Engard was set up. By the real killer, of course.
And the real murderer is... Well, Mr. Wright, who in the world is the real killer then?
Finally.
I'm just gonna...
Okay. I can't believe I managed to bring this trial all the way up to this point. Phoenix, you can't let your guard down yet. Not until the very end. The real killer, the person who planned to frame Mr. Onguard is... the dead woman?
Will Powers.
That'll be a crazy ass twist.
Miles Edgeworth. Is Mr. On Guard himself. Well, I guess it's leading to this, but...
Miss Adrian Andrews. I choose you. You're the Mr. Onguard's killer. Makarita's fuck.
What? I broke my glasses again.
Order, 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 Mr. Wright. This is a very grave matter. Do you have any evidence that supports your charge?
Any evidence? All the evidence points to Miss Andrews.
How preposterous. You can't stick any of that on me.
I can't, can I? Do you care to test me?
Then what about this knife?
The knife was used to stab the victim after he had already been strangled to death. It was used to bring suspicion onto Mr. Onguard naturally. The knives covered in the defendant's fingerprints could only have been taken from his room. And the only one who had dinner with him and knew which knife to take was you.
Then what about the button that was found in Matt's hakama?
This button was removed from the victim's body after he had already died. The only person who could have was the person who found his body or the killer. However, if Mr. Onguard was the real killer, there's no way he would have put such incriminating evidence on his own katana.
She has so many pairs of glasses.
Yeah, she has like a binder of them. The only person who could have put this button into Mr. Onguard's hakama is the person who went to wake him up from his nap, which was you, yet again, Miss Andrews.
I see. What about the empty guitar case?
That's also another piece of evidence that incriminates Miss Andrews. That costume was used to hide the real killer's identity as they fled the crime scene. Now, who would have known that there was such a costume inside the guitar case? It would have been the person who prepared the costume for the victim. And that person is you, Miss Adrian Andrews.
No,
But Miss Andrews' fingerprints were nowhere to be found on the guitar case, and it was you who proved that she was not wearing gloves at this time. That's right.
That's because she didn't intend to leave any fingerprints. If anyone had found out that she had touched the case, they would have asked her why. So to avoid leaving any fingerprints, she used a towel or something to open it. But the glass and the tomato juice did a different story. Miss Andrews purposely left her fingerprints on this glass to show that yes, indeed, she was the classic dazed discoverer of the dead body. And to top it off, there's this photo. A photo of the killer as they exited the scene of the crime. No reasonable person on Earth would believe that this nickel samurai is Mr. Onguard. He would be much too short for his own costume if it was him. Speaking of how tall people are, Miss Andrews, you're also kind of short in stature, are you not?
please stop.
Well, how about it, Miss Andrews? I got her this time.
Miss Andrews?
I refuse to testify.
What was that?
There's a law. It says I can't be forced to testify about something if it can incriminate me.
Well, yes. You are absolutely correct, Miss Andrews. The law does provide us with a way to avoid self-incrimination. By allowing a witness to not testify, the testimony can cause damage to themselves.
What? Pleading the fifth is not something most people would think to do on the spot. Actually, thinking back to yesterday in Mr. Ongar's room. Adrian Andrews,
Yes?
think hard what we just discussed. Understood?
Alright.
That's it. That's when Francisca planted this idea in her head. She must have told Miss Andrews not to testify if things look bad. Did a good job proving everything up to this point, Phoenix. But there's still one thing you haven't done. Something I haven't done?
What's wrong, Wright? Are you finished already? Run out of evidence? What is so humorous, Mr. Edgeworth? I'm sure you realize this as well, Your Honor. But everything the good lawyer here has proven up to this point is meaningless.
What?
Everything you have proven is circumstantial.
Circumstantial?
Yes, circumstantial. You have yet to provide a single piece of definitive proof. Proof that Miss Andrews did in fact harbor a wish to murder Mr. Kurita. Miss Andrews, did you want to kill Mr. Kurita?
I believe this may lead to me incriminating myself, so I will abstain from answering.
But Miss Andrews, if you do that, it would be the same as admitting your guilt, don't you think?
Maybe so, or maybe not. There's nothing to prove if either way. Besides, you don't even know what crime I would be guilty of due to my silence.
No, she's taking that definite attitude again. Mia, what should we do? Somehow we land into the worst possible situation.
I think we have reached a certain conclusion at this point in time. Miss Adrian Andrews has refused to testify, and the defense's theory that she is the actual murderer has not been fully substantiated with solid definitive proof.
But that's not true.
In this situation, there's only one thing this court can do, and that is to declare a recess.
No, recess?
I request that both the prosecution and the defense look further into this matter, and at tomorrow's trial.
Tomorrow? We don't have tomorrow. If we don't get a not guilty verdict today, then... please wait, Your Honor. That's not necessary. The trial... Please continue the trial.
What are you sweating for? Your client is getting one more day to live, isn't he?
That's not it. It isn't about that. Edgeworth, I know you know who the real killer is. Please, let the trial continue. If I don't get the verdict, then my,
But it's impossible to continue as long as the witness refuses to testify. Now then, this court is... It is not impossible for this trial to continue. Mr. Edgeworth, what are you... It's true Miss Andrews holds the right against self-incrimination. However, if the topic of conversation were something unrelated to whatever she may be guilty of, then she has no right to withhold testimony. Yes, that is very true, but... Actually, there's one little thing that I'm curious about. Miss Andrews, when you found the victim's dead body, you poured yourself a glass of juice.
Yes, and?
I can't help but think how unnatural that is. Usually when one finds a body there, shaken up, not stirring a glass of juice.
So my actions were unusual, but I've already...
Before you speak, I want to state that if you have a reason behind your actions, I would like you to testify to that effect.
Testify?
Your Honor, I would like to request that the witness testify again as to what happened when she first discovered the victim's body. Whatever we find out in this testimony should in no way implicate the witness.
I don't know what's going on with Edgeworth today, but I can't get a good read of him. Is he a friend or a foe? I just don't know.
The court acknowledges the prosecution's request. Miss Andrews, if you please.
Alright, we'll continue this shit in the next one.
Yeah.
Unless you want to continue.
No, sorry, I have to move it forward a little bit so I can save.
Yeah, it's all good. We just gotta remember that we gotta read it when we give it back.
Yep. So, we found out a few things. That Adrian Andrews did kill him, and that's it.
Yeah.
We figured out a few things. We've connected some dots. I still think it's bullshit. This whole entire
I'm sorry.
this whole entire situation with the fucking costume and whatnot. Like, I get where they were leading with that, but man, how were you supposed to get that? Like, I think that is probably the most misleading evidence point that they have had in this entire game. Like, I think that's almost as bullshit as the fucking cloak going off of off of the guy onto the fucking statue in the last one. But I get it. They explained it well enough. But anyways, thank y'all so much for watching. We're gonna get a little bit further into this in the next one, and actually be able to. Well, I'm curious to see if we'll actually be able to get it so that either she self-implicates herself, or if she actually will testify to the effect of, you know, if she actually had like a reason to kill him, so, you know, provide some definitive proof and whatnot.
Yeah.
But anyways, thank y'all so much for watching, and we'll see y'all in the next one.
Bye.
Bye-bye.